do have a comment. Tell Roman Reigns I'll see him this Friday on SmackDown.
Zombie 13 with the cover. Welcome in to the Monday Night Raw review. Brock Lesnar has found out that his opponent's going to be the guy we all thought it was going to be. That's right. It's Bobby Lashley. We knew it was going to happen, and it did. If you're in the chat, make sure you guys hit that like button and stick the thumb directly up my ass. This is the Joe Cronin Show, Monday, first Monday Night Raw of the year 2022. Since around 2012 and really 2013, this has been where I started the Monday Night Raw reviews on a permanent live basis. Hard to believe we're approaching a full 10 years here in the new year. And hard to believe it would get this bad. Back when I used to rant on Raw in 2012 and 10 and 11 and 13 and 14, I never knew it was going to get this bad. That's the one thing I can honestly say 100%. I did say that it would get this bad, and I did used to predict if it keeps going this way, imagine what it's going to be like in 5-7 years or whatever. But I got to be honest, I thought that someone would stop the bleeding at some point. I never envisioned that they would actually allow the company to get to this point. I get sometimes where you don't know what to do and you're not sure where to go or what to do, but there are so many things they could do and could have been doing forever. So that just still baffles my mind. But anyway, we're here to talk about what happened tonight. To me, this tells me that Paul Heyman was definitely going to turn on Roman Reigns the other night, but they couldn't do that because of the whole COVID thing. I gotta believe that the goal was for Paul Heyman to turn on Roman Reigns. And then that way he could come out tonight and say, yeah, here's where I'm with this guy now. But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. What up, chat? We get a repeat of the same match from the other night. That's no fun. No one's happy about that. We're getting her started as the alerts go out that we are live tonight. So Paul Heyman back in Brock Lesnar's corner. Molly Holly with an awful botch tonight during Raw. I mean, she just fell running. It's like her legs ran out of steam and she just fell. She's like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm just gonna fall over now. I'm running and I'm tired and I fall over now." Oh, it looked horrible. It looked terrible. God damn it, was it bad, man. It was rough looking. This whole show was kind of rough. Now the show tonight started well, actually. I thought the show started pretty good. This show started, I was actually kind of excited. I got to be honest. I was actually a little bit interested, especially with Paul Heyman, you know, on the mic and everything he was saying.
To my client.
Like, let's go.
And new reigning, defending, undisputed WWE heavyweight champion of the world,
Oh,
Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God!
here comes Brock Lesnar. Oh my God, they're surprised. They just saw him last night, but they're surprised he's coming out. Anyway, I thought this whole opening was nice. Brock standing on the steps and, you know, Paul Heyman talking. You know, I got to be honest, too. I was at about a 6 out of 10 hype level, which is not something Monday Night Raw has been able to give to me in a while. Usually my hype level is like a 5 or a 4 or a 3 or a 2 or a 1. Usually a 3 or a 2 or a 1, but I had a little bit of hype, a little bit. And then I got to be honest.
Looks like my
Oh,
little
shit.
ass needs a shaving.
Oh, my God.
Oh God, yes, I am gonna come after that god-awful show 2/10.
Oh, no. Caveman Austin dropping a cum bomb, a $9 cum bomb. Caveman Austin, thank you for the donation, bro. And thank you for the cum bomb. Caveman Austin, that is the first donation of the stream and the largest one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to give you that top dog spot there, man. Thank you. I think I almost wrote Caveman Anus, but Anusin, Caveman Austin. No, that's right. Oh, we got it right. I'm jumping over to Discord as well so I can get a hold of Joe Compton, who's going to be on as well. But yeah, I thought the promo by Otis or by Gable was good too. I got to be honest, the promo by Gable, I thought that was a pretty good promo. So my energy level stayed up. Pretty good promo by.
Gross. And tonight,
This was funny to me. This was actually funny.
I brought my master's degree that I achieved with my immaculate 4.0 GPA. Don't do that. Don't boo education. That's gross. And tonight, I'm handing out free lessons and New Year's.
Don't do that. Don't boo education. That's gross. Meanwhile, I got a clip of Egghead. Listen to this.
No, turn it off. 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 Turn it off now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Oh my God, turn it off, baby. Yeah, Caveman Austin, thank you for the $9, man. What's been up? Yeah, I just thought, so it was really at this point that I was feeling pretty good. I'm like, all right, this could be a good sign. You know, it could be a decent sign tonight. You know, Brock Lesnar's, you know, promo has got me kind of hyped a little bit. It's pretty good. Heyman and Lesnar, all right, it feels like a real wrestling show maybe. And then, you know, Gable with that pretty good promo there. And then really that was like a nothing match. It ended up being a nothing match. I didn't really enjoy the match. And then, you know, they announced this main event for the night. I mean, we're all pretty sure Bobby Lashley's winning. That was the other problem with this tonight was like, okay, we're all pretty sure Bobby Lashley's winning. Nobody really thought anything different because we all thought, okay, what's up, Garguts? We're going to get the same old, you know, we're going to get the new match. We're going to get the match that's never happened before. We're going to get first time ever Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar. All of you guys yesterday that called this show said this to me yesterday. Everybody that called my show yesterday was fully into, yes, it's going to be Bobby Lashley, first time Brock Lesnar. This is what everybody's been waiting for forever. They're going to do that. 100% they're doing that. You know what I mean? We knew that they were going to do that, and we were like pretty sure.
Turn it off. 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 Turn it off now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
So that's what my brain was saying. And that's, I mean, to be honest, that's exactly what my brain now always says when I'm watching Monday Night Raw. Is to turn it off. Every single time, it's just turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. There's a place downtown where the freaks all come around. Everybody turn it off. It's the opposite of that Kesha song. You know? You know what I'm talking about? Monday Night Raw. And the show is horrible. I hate my life. Kill me now, 'cause Raw is a piece of shit. Raw on Monday nights that suck, and I wanna end my life when I watch it every night. Turn it off.
No, turn it off. Turn it off.
Turn it off. Everybody turn it off. Everybody turn it off.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. No, turn it off. 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 Turn it off.
That's what my voice. That's basically what my inner monologue says to me while I'm watching Raw tonight. You know, because it was started off pretty good, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this. I'm pretty happy about where this is going, and then all of a sudden, it just turn it off. Turn it off. Turn off Raw. Turn it off. Raw. Turn it off. Ah! Like that was my brain was.
No, turn it off. 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 Turn it off now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
I mean, turn it off. You know, turn it off. I mean, you might as well turn it off right there. After the Brock Lesnar promo, after the, even the Gable promo after that, basically you just could have turned it off. You could have just turned it off. Bobby Lashley's stupid promo, whatever. Omos and then AJ Styles link up and with a weird thing, and AJ Styles loses to Omos really quickly after their little promo thing. Then Dana Brooke comes out and I get a stiffy. I got to be honest. Dana Brooke is adorable. I got to tell you, man. Dana Brooke is adorable. What's up to the Renegade, Joe Compton? What's up, baby?
A lot of nothing. How you doing, bud?
Hey, man. Glad you stopped by. Renegade wanted to stop by tonight and help out, and he watched the show tonight, which I'm sorry for. Sorry about that. You watched this Raw. I mean, maybe you liked it. I mean, I thought the problem is like I said, the opening had me feeling like, okay, I could watch this tonight. I'm actually feeling good. And then after the first hour, I felt like horrible. And then, with the main event kind of being predictable, I mean, it was a little fun. The main event had a little bit of stuff in it. Kevin Owens with that dive, but that's really about all I got out of tonight. I mean, what did you think about how Raw opened?
The opening I was actually into because I like Brock's line of, "Hey, WWE Universe, acknowledge me." I like those little jabs that him and Paul Heyman took at Roman.
Right. Yeah, I like that too. That was pretty good.
With Heyman saying that Roman is weak without him. You don't believe me? Look, he's got COVID.
Right. Yeah, he's such a weak guy. He got COVID. I didn't get COVID. Yeah, I like that. I like the opening. I like everything said. I like the intensity. So I really have no problem with that. I thought the opening was all right. I think I gave it a 6, but I'm sure there's some people who thought it was a 7 or 8 out of 10 opening, but I thought it was nice. I thought it was a nice opening. And I wasn't mad yet either. Oh, shit. Here comes a note up, Nebbit. I thought I paused the donos, but I guess not, but that's okay. I need $5. So he says, go look at IG embarrassing himself in the middle of a public mall. He is like a reject Riri jester. Vegas performers. What a slob piece of shit Tommy is. Oh, Nebbit the Jew, thanks for the $5. Yeah, I don't really ever. How can you? You really can't top the time that he humped young girls. In a mall. So you really can't surprise me. You're not going to surprise me with anything that guy does. But no, I don't know, dude. I couldn't care less what he does. But thank you for the $5, Nebbit the Jew. And so do you think Paul Heyman was going to turn heel on, or going to turn on Roman then? You think that was the plan because he got COVID? They just went with this?
That is honestly hard to tell. I don't know if he would have turned on Roman, or if in the end, this Friday night, Roman would have turned on him still.
Oh yeah.
Either way, it happened.
Yeah, either way, it could have happened, and it would have been fine. This is fine what they did, though. I do think that they sort of skipped something here, but that's okay because what are you going to do? And it works out the same anyway. So that's not a problem. And then after this, I just didn't like any matches tonight. Did you?
They were all squashes.
Right. They're all squashes or stupid or except for the main event.
That was what I put for all the matches. I put in parentheses, no one cares.
Yeah, basically no one cares is Raw in a nutshell. I mean, there's not much to... I cared about Dana Brooke's body. I thought that was hot. I love her little fucking round-off jump into Nia, into whatever her face is. I love Dana Brooke. She's hot. And that's about it. I don't care about the couple. I don't care about their match. I don't care about none of that. I don't care. And then Becky Lynch came out and cut whatever Becky Lynch promo. And then Liv came out and really bored me to tears. And then Bianca came out and was the best of the three, but was dressed like the grandmother from Don't Be a Menace or something. I don't know, bro. She looked weird.
She was wearing some sort of damn bikini top under that damn pink jacket.
It looked comfy as hell, but just... I don't know, bro. She looked like a grandmother. I don't understand why Bianca came out looking like a fucking grandmother.
To me, she ain't got the figure to be wearing a bikini top. She ain't got nothing up top. She's all muscle.
Oh, man. Well, you're canceled for that, you scumbag, man. Yeah, no, I know. No, I mean, listen, whatever. It's... Yeah, get some implants, but it's just, I don't know, whatever. She was the best. I thought she was the best on the mic, I get. Most interesting on the mic, because Becky just did her classic whatever. Liv is crybaby Liv, as always. And then Bianca even kind of annoyed me, though, with her, it's me, the EST. And, I thought this whole segment was bad. I didn't care about it. I don't care who the number one contender is. And I honestly don't even care about the belt. Some guy on Twitter was like, you're going to see when Liv is the champion. And I was like, dude, I don't care if Liv is the champion. If Liv is the champion, the ratings are probably going to go down more. So I hope she is the champion so I can send you the ratings during her fucking title reign.
And with that triple threat match they got next week with Doudrop bitching and getting added to it, it's going to probably still be Becky at Rumble. Then the way I see it, Alexa Bliss will win the Rumble match since she's coming back. It'll be Becky and Alexa Bliss, which we need Alexa Bliss back to give WWE a shot in the arm of something that's halfway refreshing since she's been out for so long. Then it'll be Becky and Alexa at Mania.
Well, Becky and Alexa, I mean, okay. I can't even fathom WrestleMania booking at this point. I mean, I almost don't want to book things or even think about them. Like whenever this actually started happening to me a couple of years ago. I've been so bored with the product that a couple of years ago, even or I want to say 3 years ago, people would say, "Joe, book WrestleMania now, or book your Royal Rumble," and I didn't want to do it because when I do it, it's probably somewhat right, and even just thinking about it bores me. I don't want to think about what makes sense at all. I want them to come up with stuff that I didn't think about and do it, and then excite me, and then we're talking about it for WrestleMania. I don't want to be able to think about and book it all ahead of time, which is what you can do usually, including this Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar thing, because it just ruins it for me even more. So I don't even want to book that far out. But all I want to do is explain what I just saw. And that's why I don't do a lot of those prediction of what's going to happen in 3 months or 2 months videos, because it just makes it worse for me to watch. So all I can do is simply react right now to what I just saw tonight. And I just think, and the problem is we knew Bobby Lashley probably was facing Brock Lesnar, so the main event just felt like, all right, do we know what's happening? Yeah, okay, get to that point. That was it. Brock Lesnar looked like a star. He looks like a champion. He looks like a big threat. And that's about it. The only thing that was good, I can say mostly about Raw, was that the world champion seems like the world champion and a dominant, crazy, beast. He seems like a top guy. I mean, Roman does too. But Raw didn't have that for a bit. You know, I don't know why, but I just
Big E too busy hugging kids and being the good baby face instead of worrying about his contender.
Yeah, and still gyrating and throwing pancakes around.
So now we got Brock, even though he's baby face at the moment as a champion, he can still be that baby face that you look at him, you're like, oh shit, he's going to mow through that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Not very many faces can actually pull that off nowadays.
And I wonder if they're going to go full blast on Bobby Lashley. I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if they're going to have Bobby Lashley beat Brock Lesnar. I don't know.
I hope Brock don't deserve a 3 to 4 week reign.
Right. I don't think Brock should really be losing this title now for a long time, it feels like, which is just going to be more of the, if that's the case, that's going to be the champion not on TV a whole lot again, because they probably want him to hold this belt until WrestleMania now. I can't imagine they'd want to take it off him before Mania now.
I would hate to say it, but it's going to be a rather lengthy reign. It's going to be one of those 1 year reigns, because if anything, they would push, and I hate, just like you said, booking this far out. I hate doing it. But they would give the Brock and Roman match, champion versus champion, at the end of this year.
Probably right. There's probably a champion versus champion match coming. Or, you know, they still get Roman and Rock potentially at WrestleMania or sometime, I don't know. And they got somebody else coming for Brock, I guess. But this at least situates two top guys as the current champions. Roman, the number one guy, and Brock is really the number two guy. Brock Lesnar is really your number two guy in the company, because even though he's not full-time, because who else is there? There isn't anybody else. So there's Cena, but he's busy. And so he's part-time, but he's busy. He's not going to be back. So unless he is going to come back and challenge Brock, you know, so I could see WWE desperately wanting Cena to come back to face Brock and The Rock coming back to face Roman. That would be huge for Mania. That would be like desperation move 100, which is what they need. I don't know if they can do that, though, based on those two guys' Hollywood schedules.
Looks like my little lass needs a shaving.
Damn. Didn't watch Raw, but wanted to come in and throw you $15 so you can pay off the Korean chef for the cream of cum. Happy ending you ordered last night. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Daunted Metal, what up, Daunted Metal? How you doing? Appreciate it. Love you. Thanks for the $15. That is the largest donation to the stream so far. So thank you, sir. I will say that, you know, my passion, my hype, and everything else faded throughout this show. I would say about the halfway point of Raw. I was hyped earlier, guys. I was sitting here like very hyped, like, okay, this is gonna be, well, you know, hey, I'm gonna have something to talk about tonight. Holy shit, I'm gonna have something to talk about tonight, and that just started drying up quicker than goddamn Debe's pussy on a fucking Sunday night. Like, it just was gone. It was fucking gone. Is there anything, Joe Compton, that you liked about this show tonight, or anything that you want to point to in your notes before I give my final rant? Because this show was dead.
It was. After the beginning, I was hyped for that Paul and Brock. After that, when Riddle started acting like he wanted to be a rapper, it just went downhill. Giving Randy that name of Little Randy Dog or whatever it was, that was just flat out fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not good.
Then you got AJ turning into a jobber, which I know they're building up Omos, which I don't know if he's going to play into the Rumble somehow.
AJ did The Undertaker, basically. He put over the great Khali tonight.
I don't know if Omos is going to enter the Rumble and do something with the Rumble, or if it's too early for him.
No, I still think it's too early for him, but oh, God, you don't think they would do, like, Omos versus Brock? I mean, nobody would believe it. You know, that's why
That would be a match that would maybe be later on down the road. I'd say get Omos some seasoning. Let him get his feet under him. then maybe that way you can look at Brock. Physically, Brock would be the underdog, which is rare. You could get someone like Brock to be an underdog.
I wouldn't buy it.
I mean, it would be something I would watch, but how it would turn out, I don't know. Because Omos is a big bitch.
I would have to see. I would have to see him on like a 50 winning streak. He would have to like beat 50 dudes, beat Goldberg, beat Cena or somebody. Like I wouldn't believe Omos stand a chance against Lesnar. I just wouldn't even believe it. You know, right now I wouldn't at all.
He needs more seasoning, but I'm afraid that knowing the way WWE is, that's the route they're going to take with the big man.
Yeah, because I just won't be entertained by it. You know, I think they should put Omos in a match with, keep it going. You know, maybe have AJ Styles like really trying to beat him. He beats him again, and then get him involved in some other people's shit. But I don't even know what to do with him really. I think we also need to see him in a match that entertains people, like a match that makes people go, "Wow, that was crazy." There's not a lot of meaning to anything right now. He just sort of beat up AJ Styles, and that was really it.
If anything, I would probably put him against Damian Priest, give him the U.S. title, see how he runs with a lower card title before you shove that world title on him.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, and I don't think he's near. Yeah, I mean, even that's rough. But I'd do that before he wins any kind of world title. I don't think he's going to come close to a world title for a long time. But then again, you never know with Vince.
Vince has a hard on for those big guys.
See, I think he'd be good if Omos. I think Omos, a good story for Omos. If you want to get him in a title picture, and you want to get him up at the top in a way that makes sense. I think the way to do it is, aside from making him beat everybody for a long time and putting him in that position of believability, but if you're having trouble sort of believing that he can go out there and have a full match with everybody and beat everybody and whatever else, I would have him win Money in the Bank. I would have him win the Money in the Bank contract, and that way he can cash in on somebody. And then when he wins it, it's like, damn, who is going to beat this guy? And that...
Then that's cashing in on either Roman or Brock. Then you're faced with Omos Roman, Omos Brock. That's where I'd start him off with Damian Priest.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I wouldn't do this for a year or so. But, yeah, I could give him the U.S. title at some point. But that sucks for Priest. I mean...
he deserves a good run, and his run's been quiet. They've put his U.S. title on the back burner.
Yeah, but at least it's not that on the back burner. I mean, look at the Intercontinental belt. At least it feels like at least Priest. The Priest feels like he's the Intercontinental champion. When there is no, but the Intercontinental Championship is just dead. So I think Priest is doing all right, but he has been taking a step back recently. But I mean, they did the whole angle with him the other week where he flipped out and everything, and then he's on TV tonight. So I think he's fine. His story is a little stale right now. I don't like what they're doing with him right now. But he is still being featured every week. So, but you can't. And I suppose, isn't Nakamura the Intercontinental Champion? Is that true?
Yeah, still.
Yeah, so
Nakamura's still the IC champ.
So they still do have the thing with Boogs, and, that has been going on as well. But it's just, they don't need the belt. The whole thing with Boogs and Shinsuke, there's no need for an Intercontinental belt to even be there. Give
it to somebody that can be featured and let that title mean what it used to mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love that. We all know how fun it was for that IC belt from 1987 to 1998, 99. Maybe the Intercontinental belt was just so great for most of those years. And
that was the match I would look forward to watching half the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and sometimes I didn't even know it. We loved Mr. Perfect had great matches. The Ultimate Warrior had some matches. Macho Man Randy Savage had matches. Rick Rude had matches that we liked. Shawn Michaels.
Even go Triple H and The Rock at the ladder match.
Yeah, even SummerSlam 98. But, Roddy Piper, Bret Hart. Dude, those matches were great, and then that belt meant something, and that belt was so built up by The Rock, by Roddy Piper, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, HBK, like, and the list goes on of other people. That belt was so built up that when it got to Stone Cold, The Rock, and Owen Hart, it meant something. It meant a lot. It felt like it meant a lot. It really did. When Stone Cold threw that thing into the water or the river, right? Wasn't that the IC belt? That was the IC belt, right? Not the world title.
Heavyweight title.
That was the heavyweight belt?
Yeah, that was the Rock's. That was when The Rock had the Brahma Bull belt.
Really? Oh, okay. I guess I thought he threw the Intercontinental belt in the water. But either way, The Rock and Stone Cold had a good rivalry when The Rock had the IC belt and when Austin had the IC belt. It was just a great rivalry. And that belt was at the beginning of it, all with, unfortunately it didn't go so well once Austin got like half paralyzed by, Owen when they were wrestling for the title. Because I think he won it in that match, right? Where he got.
Yeah, he belt that match.
Yeah, my brain fleets me a little bit on some of the stuff, but man, that shit was great. And that belt felt like $1 million at that point. And it was, and honestly, after that is kind of where it sort of got a little forgotten about after that. And I think it was I think it was because the roster was too big, right? Because after that happened, that's when, the Intercontinental belt sort of started going to people like D'Lo Brown and Val Venus and bounced around between every DX member ever and, people like that. And so that's why I think the Intercontinental belt lost its value because the WWE at this point was less fixated on these 1-versus-1 stories involving a title, and they were more fixated with the drama, sort of shock humor stories and gang warfare that they were doing. So the belts are kind of afterthought, especially the IC belt. So they never really got back to that until, guys like Jericho and William Regal and Eddie Guerrero and stuff like that showed up. And then it kind of felt like that belt again was involved in some big wrestling matches and rivalries, but it really felt passed around. Oh, it was the IC belt that went off the bridge, Clambake says.
Rock's Brahma Bull belt.
But I don't know. I think that was something different. I think that was right? Was that not another time or? No, Austin threw the IC belt in the river. Everybody says that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was my mistake.
Yeah, The Rock threw the smoking skull belt. That's what you're thinking of. Because remember, The Rock said, you go to hell with it or something, you son of a bitch, and he threw it off the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're right, though. That is true. They both kind of... Oh, no. No, wait a minute. Was it... Maybe I'm thinking of The Rock threw Stone Cold's skull belt off the bridge, but somebody got thrown into the water then that night. Or whatever. Was that Worcester too? Was that in Massachusetts?
Mass was Edge and Cena, where Edge got through into the Long Island Sound.
No, well, that's a different thing. That's a whole nother thing, I think, right? No, because Austin, The Rock threw Stone Cold Steve Austin his belt into the... Oh, here it is. I got it right here. Here's The Rock throwing... This is The Rock throwing Steve Austin's belt into the river. And then here is Steve Austin fighting The Rock. And then there's Stone Cold being thrown off the bridge.
That's right. He lost. That's right. I remember that now.
Yeah. So The Rock not only did The Rock throw the skull belt off the bridge, he threw Stone Cold off the bridge too. All in the same night. That's why I'm confused. Because they both happened at the same time. But then there was also a time before that in 1998 where Steve Austin threw The Rock's belt off a bridge.
You're going to have to go deep. So I got you asked a little oxygen tank, and I really doubt there's any oxygen in the damn thing. But nonetheless, there it.
He throws it in the water.
Really don't give a damn about you or the WWF, so I'll see you a little bit later.
Oh, my. No! There goes the belt!
And that's the bottom line.
Steve Austin threw the... So, yeah, I mean, that's why we're misremembering so much, because 3 things happened. Like, Stone Cold went off a bridge, his belt went off a bridge, and Stone Cold threw The Rock's belt off a bridge before that. So, there you go. We were right about everything, really, when you think about it.
Close.
So, hey, as long as we're right, that's all that matters, right? What's up, Mustafa? How you getting? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good until we got some grammatic stuff wrong, and I'm not trying to be that guy, but yeah.
All right.
That was 90. That was 97.
Okay, sorry. 90. So 99 was The Rock.
Yeah.
99 and 97. Thank you. It all blurs together, dude. I'm telling you, one of the if anybody has the time in their life because maybe they're like a loser or something. 1996. If you just watch WWE from 96 to the year 2001, it will be the greatest ride of your life. Enjoy it.
It was.
And I mean 96. People say, oh, 97 or 98. Nah, man, start at 96 because only if you start at the beginning. Hell, if you really want to get fucking weird, start at the beginning or start in the 80s. But I mean, start in at the beginning of 96 because then you'll really, or 95 maybe if you really want, but 96 because, 94, 93, 4, and 5 are rough. But if you start in 96, you will appreciate 97 and 98 even more. It's great. It's like a batter when when a batter goes to take batting practice before he's on deck, so he puts the weight on the bat, so the bat, when he gets the real bat, it feels lighter. That's exactly why you watch all of 1996, because then 97 and 98, ooh, you'll cream, Mustafa.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
I'll take that in consideration.
You like that?
No. In 96 to like mid 97, as I was gonna say, is pretty much like it was pretty much the building of stars, and again, everybody else came from WCW's mid card came later, but literally from that January to February 96 going into about maybe July, August of 97 was really a build-up period. And then you pretty much had the icing on the cake at the Madison Square Garden show when you had the return of Cactus Jack, Austin Stun McMahon, Sean beat Bulldog for, I believe, the European title overseas the week before.
Can I tell you the night that when Austin stunned McMahon, I went insane. I ran around. I grabbed my mother. My mother hates doesn't really like wrestling, and I'm telling my mother he attacked the owner, or the announcer. I didn't even know. I'm not even 100%. I knew he was the owner still, but I was like, he attacked the announcer, Vince McMahon. The guy that's always the commentary guy. He got attacked, and I was flipping out, and I was running around the house like an idiot, like a loser. I was 13.
It was like, that's nice, son. Go back to sleep.
She's like, okay. Grades. I don't care about this. All right. Okay.
The worst stunner in history, looked like a fish out of water.
And I always took it though in my head that, oh wow, he must have really jacked him in the throat. Because even though it
was like a snapmare almost.
Yes.
I think if you look back at the tape.
Yeah, it's like he was going to take a snapmare but didn't because his throat got jacked.
He didn't know how to bump.
Well, you know what it is? I know I think I know part of what it is. Vince McMahon himself was always somebody who would say to the referees and other people to ask to have them not bump the way a wrestler would bump, because then it sort of makes it look ridiculous. So it was more like, no, sell it like you really got, it happened to you. They wouldn't want to.
I highly doubt that.
No,
I highly doubt that, especially when you're hanging around with Patterson and Briscoe on a regular basis.
No, they were always. This is what old former referees and everybody said, that Vince. They always said, try to sort of sell it like you're dead. Don't sell it like you bounced off the rope and did all this stuff. Sell it like you're dead. And so I'm wondering, but that being said, he changed his ways later. But I'm wondering if that's what he was sort of trying to do, was make it look like he absolutely got annihilated with this move. He didn't want to do like The Rock, jump up in the air and they didn't even have that yet. Rock, whatever. So, but my point is that he told referees, and referees have said this, and other people in the business and met Vince and everything, that they used to ask them to act, like they got, when you see it, when a referee gets hit, he just goes down like a heap of shit. That's what they want. And so maybe Vince was sort of trying to obviously do what he was always telling other people to do. So, but then when they, later on, he was like, all right, I got to try to sell it a little more later. I don't know. But that's my theory, is that he didn't know. They didn't practice it. It doesn't feel
it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, Joe, and the fact that he's a guy behind the scenes who watches wrestling on a consistent basis. even up until that point, and he's like, okay, I'm just gonna sell horribly after I've literally hired and fired over hundreds of thousands of wrestlers, extras, and all that jazz up until that point. But I don't necessarily not trying to discredit your theory. I'm
I know. Well, to me, it's not a theory because I'm talking about I'm literally, this is coming from the referees that worked for him.
I guess, including Shane, who was also a referee. But again, I don't know.
Well, Shane is the guy who was kind of like a wrestler. Like, he sort of did stuff.
Well, I know, but even before he got into the ring to wrestle in '99, Shane was a referee like way back, because that's actually how he earned a little bit of money. Like, I think in the summer times when he was working for his dad. So, because I think he, like, one of his first jobs was like, I don't know if it was landscaping or whatever the hell it was, but yeah, no. And then like later on in the summer times, he would literally join his dad on the road to work for him. So, but again, either way,
well,
at any rate.
Well, you know, again, and I don't even think the stunner was that bad. I think it was like because, you know, Stone Cold really drove his head down. Like, it was like he went down with him. I think the thing I always remember is Goofy.
Yeah, literally.
Watch this. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show you the stunner. It's actually not too, like, I think the thing that people remember is how goofy Vince, like, started doing the electrocution afterwards.
The floppy fish.
Yeah, like that. Like, watch this stunner, bro. This is actually pretty. Like, he drives him pretty solid here. Ready? Boom! Like, and look at that. And, like, Vince's head almost came off. So it's, like, pretty dangerous. Like, kind of like the way he...
My favorite part is when he's quivering like a fish in the ring. He's like... He's trying to find some way to sell it, and he just doesn't really know what to do. He's just like, whatever.
Yeah, he just started
electric shock therapy.
It was... Man, I loved that. That night was wild to me. I watched that probably 1,000 times that night when that happened. I watched it so many goddamn times. I don't know.
What I miss though about like watching those Raws was like the next day you would go at like lunch or in recess or whatever, and you would talk about what you saw the night before, and you and your friends would be like, "Oh, dude, what's gonna happen next?" That's what I miss more so the most than just the execution of the programs.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
they were not predictable back then.
Yeah, you didn't know.
They are damn predictable. You can tell what's going to happen as soon as that opening credits hits.
Yeah, you can almost map out the night for yourself pretty much just based on it.
But back in the 90s, we had no damn clue what the hell was going to happen.
Yeah, no, we didn't really know exactly what was going to happen. There were some things that were somewhat predictable. If you go back in Meltzer's stuff, I mean, yeah, there's some things that that were more predictable to older people. And to myself, I was like, 13, 14, and 15 and 16 during the Attitude stuff. And, there were some things I didn't pick up on that some of the dirt sheets picked up on. But for the most part, you really didn't know 100% or too much about what was going to happen. And, this is retarded, what we watch now, though. This is like right out of the video game. Like, it always feels like the video, like I'm playing the video game. Like, Brock comes on and goes, "Tonight I challenge you and you'll face me in the ring." Okay. Like, I mean, it feels like you're watching if someone simulated the WWE 2K, like, and put together.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. This is the most I've heard Brock use in mic time with Paul Heyman, mind you, or what have you, since he came back initially in 2012. Because again, Paul was normally, and it's kind of refreshing for me because we know that Brock is
pretty good,
decent, if you want to say the promo without cussing. Because in UFC, he didn't give two craps what he said. He just said whatever he wanted. But he's always had the ability to at least communicate. But I just think like he just wanted to concentrate on just murdering people in the ring. Now it's kind of funny seeing him, even as a babyface, like just giving him some mic time just to give him what is on his mind. It's actually interesting because obviously he's not scripted, so he says whatever the hell he wants. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I like him. I like him running free reign. Like someone on Twitter said the same thing. Like, they hadn't heard him in a while, and I tweeted them the video from back a while ago when he first came back against Cena. I just loved it, bro. That was when he cut the there's something running down John Cena's leg. It's piss. He's scared. Like, he was cutting awesome promos on Cena, at that time. He was just shitting on him. He was like, you're scared of this. I'm going to rip your head off. You're scared and your fucking piss is running down your leg. Loved it.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think honestly, like, coming for the Royal Rumble, just getting back on track, I just think that the Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, in my opinion, that match is like long overdue. And as far as them being in the prime of their game, yes. How big of a match or how much time that match is going to get, hopefully not as long. Because from what I saw and from what people have been saying since last night in the main event, everybody's happy that it was 8 minutes. So
I bet
I'm hoping that it's just about the same at the Rumble, because the thing is, other than just being power guys, what else can they do?
There's nothing else they can do.
They're going to have Bobby get the hurt lock on Lesnar. Lesnar's going to actually power out of it, which is going to make the hurt lock, the full Nelson that's been so treacherous here lately, look weak if Brock gets out of it.
Yep, and that's pretty much going to be a 4-minute match. So, but at the end of the day, though, would you rather have a long match that makes really no business sense, let alone fan service whatsoever? Again, I like to see well-paced matches. I like to see, a nice time length match. But again, when it comes to these guys that are just only going to throw everything but the kitchen sink, you might as well just get it done within about a 5-8 minute time slot.
I don't. 5. It's going to be Lashley spears Brock. Brock gets up. Hurt lock up. Brock gets out. Brock spears Lashley. Couple F5s. Boom. Done. There you go.
It'd be interesting. And again, this is probably not going to happen at all, Joe, but what if Brock decided to beat Lashley with a submission hold?
He's got a couple. He's done the Kimura before.
Yeah, he could do the Kimura on Lashley. He could do... Oh, God, I would think that it still would be an F5, though. He just beats him with an F5.
Yeah, I mean, again, unfortunately, that's normally how he wins his matches.
You know what he should do? Mustafa, dude, he should do the F5 on him outside where he lands on the stairs and then throws Brock and then throws Bobby Lashley in the ring, and then he puts the Kimura on him in the ring. That'd be cool.
But then he'd look weak after that point. So, again, all due respect to Bobby, after the months upon months of him being champion, you're going to make him look weak for going into WrestleMania this year?
Who, Bobby? You going to make Bobby look weak? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sort of protecting him because Lesnar does an F5 on him on the stairs on the outside, and then it's like, wow, like that's crazy. And then he just gets to put a Kimura lock on him in the center of the ring. I don't know. I mean, otherwise what? He gets beat with an F5 in the middle of the ring?
Or they could do that Becky and Liv spot with Lashley's arm in the steel steps.
Nobody should ever do a Becky and Liv spot. Just gonna say that. No, go ahead.
In the steps when Becky kicked it, Brock can do that to Bobby, throw him in the ring. Then, since that arm's already damaged, put the Kimura on that arm that was in the steps.
What do you think about MVP turning heel on Lashley? Don't you see maybe that's coming too to get out of this? That out of nowhere, MVP turns on Lashley. And now it's Lashley versus MVP at WrestleMania. And it's
a possibility, but I'm not going to put house money on that one.
I mean, the only thing I don't like...
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, what I don't like about it is I like MVP and Bobby together. So that kind of sucks because now that's over now. And now what does Lashley do after that? So that blows. But
I'm still.
So what do you want to happen though, Mustafa? Because either way, otherwise, you're saying that Lashley needs to win then?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that in terms of making Bobby strong going into WrestleMania, depending on what his opponent's going to be, which we don't know yet. And secondly, I mean, again, just kind of going back to what you just said about Brock, just figuring out what he's going to do with Reigns and stuff like that. Again, I personally just think that Bobby just needs to remain. He just has to have a decent match where it doesn't look like it's just a transitional match, almost every other opponent that Lesnar has had within the past 5 years. It was just like Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, anybody that's ever they've had good matches, but not to the point where, like, you know, they lost credibility going out of it. Like Finn lost credibility going out of it. Yeah, you put him in a spot here and there. I mean, this is the same competitor that went up against Reigns and pretty much did the whole, gonna do the whole top rope thing, and then all of a sudden the top rope broke. Like anybody's gonna buy that realistically, and it just to protect, you know, Reigns's, you know, reign. You know what I mean? Like we want something that is both legitimate and at the same time entertaining at the same time.
I hear you.
It's hard
with
to get
the WWE, that's a hard ask.
Yeah, from them.
The way they fight.
I'm just wondering, you know, that someone's got to lose. You know, I mean,
of course, we know he's going to lose.
But did they bring? But they okay. So and then there's another question here of, did they bring Lesnar back for this temporary run so he could help boost up Bobby Lashley? You know, because Vince is like, listen, Bobby's the guy. You know, he tried Big E, and he was just an in-between champion. You know, Vince is like, I really love what Bobby's done all year. I want Bobby to be the guy, but he needed a boost. What's a good way to get a boost? You know, get the belt back on a guy like Lesnar, who can then be beaten by Bobby Lashley. So Lesnar's job here is to put over Lashley, like, epically. You know what I mean? And they've used Lesnar to do this already with, what, Roman and somebody else, Seth or somebody?
I honestly, it's going to go either one of two ways. Either if they decide to put Bobby over, then that means that all that's left is Brock and Roman at Mania. And or Brock retains, then it's Brock and Roman at Mania. Reigns goes over and has both belts.
That's what a lot of people think that too, like that someone's getting both belts. And I heard the rumor that I heard when I spoke to Dingleberries, who I call them Dingleberries because they're only right 40% of the time. Those wrestling insiders, these people believe. I think WrestleVotes said it too, which is probably coming from him altogether. But is that, you know, they're going to unify the belts with Roman because they want Roman on Raw and SmackDown. So this is how you get there. But if that's the case and Lesnar wins and beats Bobby, you know, now Bobby needs something to do for Mania. Lesnar's going to face Roman at Mania. Or they're still going to try to get the Rock match, but it doesn't seem the Rock's happening at all this year anymore. And now this year's what isn't the year after this year now going to be Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
So
we were talking about this last night, where it's like, you know, the potential of Rock and Roman.
They really wanted the Rock and Roman to happen in L.A. too. So if this year it's in Texas and Rock can't do it anyway, and they can wait and do it next year. But it's funny because we've been talking about this for 4 years now, about when they're going to do Rock and Roman. And we were convinced it was going to happen last year and for sure this year. And now it's looking like it's not going to happen this year. It's going to be next year or not at all. But if anything, it would be in L.A., you would think. That would be the goal of WWE. And potentially Rock's, you know, whatever future movies Rock signs on for or is signed on for, I would imagine that it was negotiated in the contract to have some sort of insurance plan because he plans on wrestling. And they couldn't do that a year ago because everything from a year ago was signed in the past 3 years before that. So, but now, you know, last year and this year, you could have planned for whatever he does going forward during that week, you know, to be open. But I don't know how those things work. You know, I have no idea.
Think about it. Like the biggest movie that he has coming out, at least to my knowledge, is the Captain Marvel film, I believe it is, or the one of the superhero movies that he's doing.
Oh, Black Adam.
Black Adam.
But
excuse me. Yeah, Black
that's
Adam.
Already out though. That's already coming out, so it's already filmed, right?
Yeah, it's already filmed. It's being edited, and I'm assuming that's either going to be coming out sometime in late this year, possibly next year, depending on how they wait. So it could be a nice tie-in business-wise, because remember, him and his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, are running $7 Productions. So again, it could be a good marketing tool for all parties concerned based upon the movie and or whatever other movie that they're doing, and what's going to happen with Mania in order to get more eyes on the product, in which that's what Vince wants.
Right.
And there's also going to be another Hobbs and Shaw coming out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so there'll be that, and then there'll be that would tie in with Roman, right? And is that his? Well, okay, and they haven't greenlit another Black Adam 2 yet. I'm sure it will get the green light, but they might be waiting. I don't know if movie studios are being a little more hesitant right now. Obviously, the pandemic has slowed a lot of things down, so that's the only thing that could save WWE in the way that Rock, could have an opening. See, I feel like he could have more of an opening now than next year, though. I can't believe he's busy this year.
Well, again, did we ever think, with the exception of when Roman became champion and started his heel run as the head of the table, did we think Roman and Rock were just going to automatically come together just like that? I didn't think so, mainly just from a business point of view and from a time restraint.
Well, so I remember a year and a half ago, we had set the table for what was going to happen, or a year ago. Me and Jake were planning it out. Oh, it's first he eats up Goldberg, then he eats up Cena, then he eats up Lesnar again at some point. Then he eats up The Rock. Then it's The Rock. Now he's gone through all these people. Now it's The Rock. And we thought that it was going to culminate with The Rock versus Roman at Survivor Series or WrestleMania this year. So those...
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. But I was just going to say that Survivor Series happened, no Rock, and now we're speculating on Brock again. And so that's where we're at right now. If WrestleMania happens without The Rock, then... our plans went out the window completely.
I thought The Rock was gonna come in after Alpha and Sika put the lays on Roman, acknowledged him as the tribal chief after he went through both the Usos, and there was gonna be one more Samoan left. I thought The Rock was gonna come in and say, you're not the head of the table. This is my table. I set it for you. You have to go through me before you're the head of the table.
Yeah, something like that. Or The Rock would just go, The Rock would go rogue, or rather Roman would go rogue on people like Alpha and Sika, and that would have been, stuff like that would have been good. Like the emotional stuff in their family, that stuff could have been good. What would you do, Mustafa?
Well, before I give my my statement on that, shout out to Mr. Pico Boulevard, who says Rock should come back as Flex Kavana.
Should come back as Biff Raiden.
But anyway, let me get my... Oh, man. Should come back as Dwayne Johnson.
Should come back as Jake DeMarco.
That would be interesting. He had to get a lot of bleach, though. But at any rate, I think Rock, honestly, if he does want to come back, he's even said in statements, it's got to be the right storyline, which I believe in his mind when he says that statement, he exactly knows what that is. Because if it's going to be about family, I mean, okay, great, but there's got to be something more for him. Because if you remember when he came back in 2011, going into 2012, 2013, he wanted to wrestle Cena, which he did, and then apparently was so good he wanted to do it again. So there has to be a reason. The first time was just because Cena was talking trash, let's do it at Mania. Rock went over in Miami. Now Cena's becoming the champion, and then Vince is thinking, hey, Rock, come back for one more match, which I was at that WrestleMania in MetLife Stadium.
Wait a minute. Were you just going to call it Meth Life Stadium because it's in New York and meth? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Stop it, Joe.
All right.
Will you stop?
Yeah, do the gorilla. I'm Bobby. Let's go.
This place has gone banana. No,
oh man. He makes fun of people that eat bananas. Even though he's okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
dude. All right. Do you remember when Austin was doing the when people came over to his house in like '97 and he had like the deer or whatever in the backyard? He had a bow and arrow, and he says the gorilla. He looks like a jackass. They call him the gorilla, but yet he hee-haws like a jackass.
Yeah,
they call you the gorilla, but yet you hee-haw like a jackass.
I remember that. That was great. Yeah, that was when he was he was mad during the Vader times and during the.
No. That was when he got his neck busted up and he was about to drop the IC belt.
That's right. Yeah, before Slaughter. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, he got JR at the next pay-per-view.
That's right. That's funny.
Oh man, but no. At any rate, no. I think Rock, honestly, he just to sum it all up, it's got to mean something to him more than just what the office or even what the fans want. It really comes down to his.
Is that what it comes down to? I literally think it's all scheduled, but you think he'll do
No, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you saying
okay.
that it's partially schedule. I just think that honestly, it really has to. It's got to come from him. He has ultimately the final say.
Well, because like you're saying, even if there's a schedule, it's going to be a little rough. He'll make it happen if he loved it.
Oh yeah, no. If Rock honestly wanted to make it happen, he would not hesitate to call Vince.
Right.
Yeah, and mind you, like Rock has a passion for the business, and again, I can understand why fans are like, he's off and on, he's black and white about coming in, coming back, doing an appearance, and this and that. But here's the thing: if you were making the kind of money that he was making after he bust his ass, when in the early stages of Hollywood, he was barely looked upon, even with an iota of like, this guy's gonna actually change the system. He said it in a speech when he won, I think it was like some type of award. He says, instead of me going to Hollywood, I'm gonna have Hollywood come to me. He did that. Not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah.
And here's a brother, half black, half Samoan, going into Hollywood, being a former wrestler, and was able to do things that most people haven't done.
By the way, for all the other people out there crying about color and minority and all this other stuff, if you go out there and you be undeniable and have the charisma, it doesn't matter what you look like or what you are.
And that's exactly what he proved.
Because The Rock had, The Rock, and by the way, it also goes to show. I hate when people are like, "Oh, nobody looks like me in this company, or no one looks like me." So, like, I think I was listening to Big Swole's podcast the other day, which is actually a really good podcast. But, Big Swole goes, my daughter said to me, nobody looks like me. It's like, what? Dude, my kids, like, nobody would ever, like, I kind of get it because sometimes kids fixate on things. Like, my daughter sometimes does say, like, oh, there's not enough girls in the show, so I don't want to watch it. Or my son says, oh, it's a girls' show or something like that. But I don't know, man. I can't imagine, even if it was, like, But then again, I don't know an all-black show that my kids would watch where there wasn't a white person. So I don't know that point of view, maybe. But my point is going into this thing is, as a kid, I loved Hulk Hogan. I loved Shawn Michaels. I loved the Macho Man. I loved a lot of these guys. Other than Ron Simmons when he won the WCW title, because I got pretty fired up for that. But other than that, like I try to think about who did I really cheer for. And Virgil is one of them. I cheered for Virgil when I was a little kid. I was about 7 years old, and I wanted him to beat up the evil $1 million man for the way he was treating him, And so like I was like, yo, I love Virgil's music and things like that. But really, it's The Rock who was the first person, that wasn't the American hero, white looking guy, that I was like. But I saw him the same way. I saw The Rock as this guy's a hero. This guy's like a awesome, like a bigger, larger than life guy. Like, and I didn't even know what Samoan was, by the way, at that point. That's how I learned about Samoan. Like, so that's all you got to do, man, is be undeniable and be that charismatic. People are going to love you. Little kids, no matter what they are, race or whatever, are going to love you no matter what. But nobody can be that nowadays in WWE, in my opinion. Or because they don't. Who the hell has that ability to get that to churn up that charisma? Does anybody have that ability?
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. It's like, why was the reason Austin was successful?
He was able to cut loose on the promos and just say what he felt on the fly.
Well, to sum that all up, he was himself. Who is he? He's an extension of Steve Williams, who happened to live from South Texas. Practically loved wrestling, drank beer, raised hell. That's who he was. He just turned it up to 11, so that way, okay, the people in Stanford didn't quite understand him completely, but as I said before, when I said that instead of just Rock going to Hollywood, Hollywood came to Rock, well, the WWE came to Austin, took him by the throat, or I say Austin took them by the throat and says, hey, this is where we're going. And they went somewhere. And they made a lot of money. And I would argue to think they probably made more money than Hulk Hogan's run. But again, that's an arguable point. You know what I mean?
Right,
so, but
right.
again, going towards the idea of today's athletes and entertainers in WWE, can they potentially do that? Of course they can. But again, no, there's that quote unquote glass ceiling.
Even Stone Cold said it recently. He goes, "There's no way anybody is going to get over at all with the way they script them." And
well, yeah.
with the way that they're scripted, because it's the same like 10 writers, or even Vince, right? So when they write anybody, everybody sounds the same. So it's funny, like, and I don't know why I keep going back to race, because it opens up some eyes. Like, you know how when you hear like certain people like say like they don't know how to write my people. Like Swole said that on our podcast. They don't know how to write my people. First of all, why does anyone call anybody my people? That's very strange to me. But they don't know how to write your people. They don't know how to write anybody, because they're all writing the same thing. So even the white people sound the same. So let alone like they know how to write anybody, because they all sound the same, or they sound like Vince. You ever notice that? It's either the writing team is the same people, so all the writing and the promos and stuff are delivered somewhat similar. But then you can also hear when it's Vince, right? You can definitely hear like, oh, that's something that Vince, not only is he saying it like Vince, but it was clearly something that Vince wrote. Or, because it's something that Vince would have wanted to say if he was out there. Or somebody else, he'd want someone else to say. Like, you can clearly make that out. And what I don't understand about that is, even in the 90s, the early 90s and the 80s, Macho Man and people, Hulk Hogan, that's why they got over, right? Because at that point, Vince wasn't scripting those promos, right? He was just turning on the camera for the most part, letting them cut promos. So even they had that opportunity. That's, Hulk Hogan says, I'm basically going to talk about this, that, and the other thing. They were pretty scripted with Hogan.
Oh, no. They had bullet points.
Yeah.
No, don't get it twisted. Like, people have bullet points to get across, and they could say it in their own way. But mind you, though, that comparatively speaking, then, remember, who were the only people that were writing the shows? It was Vince, Pat Patterson, Bruce Pritchard, most likely. And I think probably another individual, but other than that, it was just a very small group. And Vince was included on those sessions. But now Vince being the head of those sessions, and you got like 20 writers, their argument is they want to cater to everybody. But the problem with that is when you cater to everybody, you lose a singular direction.
Right.
Not the whole process of the WWE structure is not in a singular direction.
It feels like the process in WWE is let everybody get out there to get their little moment, because everybody has a little fan base. That's really it.
Yeah, and again, granted, you have a black fan base, you have a Hispanic fan base, not just racially, but then you also have.
I don't even mean racially. I don't even mean racially. Yeah. I just mean individual wrestlers. They all have their little fan base of people.
Right. I'm not arguing that, Joe, but I'm just saying, like, because they also have demographics.
No, you're right.
And
yeah.
race happens to be part of that demographic, as well as gender, as well as even to a smaller degree, regional. Yep. You know what I mean? So why do you think that Vince was so hard on announcers for not for displaying a Southern accent? Because in the general population of the United States, not everybody has an accent that is completely Southern. That's why he went towards a broader, more speak like this, speak like that type of of an attitude and announcer. That's why, again, you don't see people like JR or Jerry the King Lawler, or because again, it's not a matter of just where you're from. It's also a matter of he likes people that are young. He likes people that are going to bring something different to the product, which unfortunately the announce team as a whole, I don't like in WWE.
Oh, God, tonight they were terrible tonight on Raw. They were just terrible.
Yeah, and again, that's what Vince wants.
Oh, they were so bad, dude. Like, I wanted to, like, oh, God, I don't even want to say what I want to do. But I just, Corey Graves and the fake Joe Rogan guy, or like the other Joe Rogan guy, like he just sounds like Joe Rogan, like when Joe's excited and he's like, ah, that's what he sounds like.
Hey, Joe Compton. Joe Compton. Let me get your, because I want you in on this. If you felt that if Corey Graves just stayed as a heel, wouldn't he make more sense on a commentary?
As a color commentator, he would, I believe, do good. That's where he started. That's his niche.
So this is the problem. And Joe, you've brought this up. And I'm talking about Joe Cronin. You brought this up on various different occasions. If he just wasn't as flaky as in terms of, oh, I'm from this person, or I'm for that person, both the face and the heel, he would not only make more sense getting the promo or whatever he's saying across to support the heel, but then also reaffirming why this heel should be strong and why this person should actually go over based upon biasness, in which makes more sense. Because at the end of the day, Why was Bobby Heenan so great? Because he made the heel shine and look like an impossible task for the babyface to win. That's what makes a great heel. But unfortunately, we don't have that both on the announce team, let alone more so other than maybe Roman and a few, maybe 2 other people on the main rosters right now.
I'd say McAfee does a good job at doing color.
Yeah.
Well, because he's just outbursting randomly.
He's the hype man. He's a different type of color we've never really seen. He's the hype man color.
And I like that. Like that. But I feel like he can make those moments mean more. Do you know what I mean? It's just like being in the ring. It's dancing. You make things mean more. And Bully Ray actually said a tweet out, which I actually agree with when it comes to a match. It is shine, heat, comeback, finish. No different from commentary. Shine up what it is about what you're about to see. Get the heat on it from based upon, like, again, the interaction between the color and the person that's just calling the action. Then that comeback, that fiery comeback where it's like, oh, the babyface may have a chance, and then whatever the finish is, it's got to be over the top, simple, to the point, add a pun, you know what I mean? Things that are simple. But unfortunately, everything is just so convoluted and just up in the air. It's just whatever happens. It's almost as if somebody just takes a bunch of paper towels that just have soap on them, just stick them to the wall and expecting them to stick all day long. That's all it is.
Yep, that's it. That's all. This is all, and this is just mail. A lot of this stuff just feels mailed in, Vince doesn't. It's almost like a lot of them, they don't care about this because they're so worried about the business end. The business end of WWE has become, I think, more entertaining or something. I don't know if it's to Vince or to most people in the company or something. They're more excited. I guarantee they're more excited when they're like, we got a deal in Saudi Arabia, or now we're going to sign this deal about the network, and we're going to have this thing come up. They're less excited to write a week-to-week show. They're not really interested in that. They're bored by it or something. And that's why they let the writers just kind of do things, and then they come in and interject their own opinion. And that's why this feels corpse-like. A lot of this stuff feels like it's the video game because people are just plugging in the squares, and it's all just whatever. And they would rather do those other things that I talked about from a business side of things. They don't really want to get involved.
If this is a video game, then every player is on computer. Like, there's not one person saying, okay, let's kind of get this together.
That's what it feels like. Everyone's on computer. Yeah. That's exactly what it feels like. Except it feels like there's some people that are like, no, let me play or whatever, but nobody will let you, so it doesn't matter.
I don't think there's going to be any other breakout stars anytime soon because they're not, once again, going back to the promos, they're too damn scripted. You're never going to see another angle like it was with Savage and Hogan when Savage even said, Hogan, I see the lust in your eyes, brother. You're never going to see anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, also mind you that, again, and again, obviously, we always say, oh, it's a different time, different era. But the thing is, even so, there are people in that company that have the potential to be larger than life. Are they going to do that at this pace? No. I could look at a guy like Randy Orton. Yeah, he's been in the company since 2002 now. Jesus, 20 years. Like, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, you're a superstar. And then John Cena's a superstar, which, by the way, he is larger than life. Randy, is he larger than life? In the wrestling world, yes. Outside of that, not really.
And even Randy, Randy's a guy that I would always consider a 7 out of 10 on a promo. He's good, but he's not even that mega star level. He's you know what I mean? So but now Randy does feel like a mega star. When Randy's out there, I feel like he's a god because everybody else sucks so much, and the lore of Randy is so strong that he feels bigger because of it. He feels like an A or like a 10 or a 9.
And you want to know something, Joe? And I just thought about this. Like, the only other person right now that's crossing over, she may not necessarily be larger than life at the current moment, in my opinion, but somebody who could definitely branch out and be that way is Sasha Banks.
Yeah, I mean,
right now she's in Marvel. She just did the Mandalorian. I mean, she's starting to branch out, and that's great from a PR point of view, and also from a cultural point of view.
Yeah, but
in various ways.
But on wrestling wise, I believe Sasha Banks was at her best as the NXT champion as a heel. That was her best point ever in wrestling.
Honestly, I think honestly, her as a heel is probably her best niche. Her baby face, it could be so and so depending on how you look at it. But yeah, definitely as a heel, I think honestly her best match was at Takeover in a ladder match with I believe it was Bayley.
Yeah.
But again, I can't necessarily just look back at the past saying, "Oh, she's reached her peak," because she, in my opinion, she hasn't. She's still got a long way to go. But
she's injured now, so.
Yeah, but I still can't forgive the fact that, you know, when she was going up against Charlotte, that every time when she went up against Charlotte, when she was the champion, she always lost.
Well, they booked her. They booked her like shit. She should have been a mega. What Bianca Belair is doing, or what they're doing with her, like they should have done with Sasha, but 1,000 times over. Like they should have rolled out the red carpet for, we have this plan for you to be the new fabulous Moolah, the new woman in town. Like you are just this dastardly bitch who you're just gonna be the most evil whatever person for a year with a belt. We're gonna give you a run with the belt. You're gonna wrestle everybody. You're gonna be like when Shawn Michaels was the WWF champion, the first run.
And you want to know what's sad? You want to know what's sad? They could have did that with all 4 of the 4 horsewomen.
Yes.
Within a span of 3 years, they could have done that with all 4 of them, and literally could have been the 4 pillars of the women's division in WWE.
Yeah, I'm right from the very beginning. Sasha Banks' booking in the main roster has been mostly garbage. You know, it's like some of her best stuff is like one of her best things is that time where she attacked Natalya with the wig and things like that. But it's like she should have been, dude. I know that you've heard me say this because you've been watching me a long time, but I had Sasha Banks' T-shirt, the one that's all glittery, that says.
I know what you're talking about.
Like I have that thing, and it's because I loved her. I was getting the feeling I had when I was a Shawn Michaels fan, when Shawn Michaels was a bad guy heel, and it was around WrestleMania 10 and 9 and 8. I loved Shawn Michaels then, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to hate this guy, but I love this guy. I felt the same way, dude. When she came out with that NXT championship, with her music and her entourage with the car and all that shit, I felt like, man, this fucking woman is, I love this lady. Like and I knew that I knew her. That's the weird thing is I sort of knew her a little from being in Boston and wrestling around here and as Mercedes and stuff. And it didn't matter. It's just crazy, man. And then she comes up to the main roster, and they basically don't ever harness that energy really that much. You know, in fact, Becky really was the one who got all the fire compared to. They couldn't figure out Charlotte for a little bit. They certainly couldn't figure out Sasha. When in my head, Sasha was the one. She was the star, and she was treated the worst. So that never made any sense to me.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that she was able to, pop up when she did, like after that SummerSlam. Because originally I thought she was just going to be a heel, but the way that the audience was responding to her was like, "Nah, so you've been held down for a little bit. We respect your, your swag. We're gonna let you, ride this." And then that became like the whole build up towards Mania, which I still, by the way, felt that it should have been a one-on-one match. Instead of a triple threat because they added Charlotte later, but then she ended up with both belts.
Do you want to know? Do you think they got to have one women's title too? Do you think they really need to get rid of? Okay.
Yes.
So you were talking about future bookings and stuff like that. In my opinion, what I would do, if I was booking WrestleMania, right, I would unify the championships. I might even get the belt off Becky. You know what I mean? I would have someone beat her, Bianca, whoever. And then I would get Bianca and the other champion to face each other at WrestleMania, unify those belts. And then I would have Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, and who's the other one? Bayley. And I would have those 4 women who don't have a title match at WrestleMania have a tables, ladders, and chairs match against each other. Just fucking let them tear it up again at WrestleMania. Those 4 women in some kind of throwback, like remember what we did and how we changed this industry, and like we're all gonna who's the top woman, and let them just tear it up in a TLC match, and then put the woman's belt on the line with the title versus title, and those are my women's matches for WrestleMania.
But then you got to think about this. Look who's coming back. What are they going to do with her?
Paige?
No, Alexa.
Oh,
Because they
Alexa.
mentioned her journey back starts next week.
Have her win the Rumble and face Bianca or one of the champions.
Because I'm pretty sure she's going to come back. The crowd's going to cheer the shit out of her. She'll be babyface for a little bit. Then maybe turn eventually probably at an Elimination Chamber or that last pay-per-view before Mania.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
That's when she should win the belt.
Oh, I didn't. Shit. So Bayley's out till next November? So I know she tore an ACL. I know it was bad, but
she was out 9 months. It was supposed to be 9 months from when it happened, I thought.
How long has it been now?
How long has it been, Mustafa?
Oh God, it's since it was 4 months from what I remember on the initial when they were mentioning that. Yeah, it was since Extreme Rules.
So she won't be back until May or April. Maybe.
Yeah, right about Mania. She may make a surprise return at Mania.
Oh no! Lexa's coming back next week allegedly.
No,
that's what they said.
I'm talking about Bayley. I'm talking about Bayley.
Bayley.
Bayley. I'm sorry, my B. Yeah, probably. I guess maybe. Yeah, they might even just save her. She might even come back at the Rumble. Who knows?
Shit, I don't remember when she got hurt. And now Sasha's hurt. I don't know what Sasha's hurt with.
Well, and that's the other thing too. And people were discussing this online too, where it's like, why do we need to find 30 women just to make it an authentic Rumble? I'm like, dude, just stick with the 20 women that you have. That's fine.
Right.
I'd also say they need to drop the women's tag titles. Those are meaningless.
Right.
Well, again, I knew that when they brought him back, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to shine him up for, let's say, about a good 6 months to a year. And then the next thing you know, it's just going to be meaningless. And again, it's hard because you want women to have as much time to, feature what they do, whether it be in a tag team or whether they be in a single. But the thing is that, we already have 20 belts in the company. It's like, how are you going to have the time to invest in all these belts to give them time, let alone credibility?
Okay, so March is 9 months. So March would be the 9th month of Bayley's since her ACL tear. And it usually takes 7 to 10 months for the ACL tear, right? So potentially.
That put her back right about Mania.
Yeah, if she was working hard and it healed the right way and she was careful, she potentially could come back for Mania. Assuming, but I would hope that you remember the last time we were this close to Mania wasn't it Triple H? He had a tore something like 6-7 years ago.
He tore his quad with that match with that tag match with him and Austin against Benoit and Jericho.
Oh no, I'm not talking about then. I remember that, but I'm talking about recently. Like he tore an ACL or something not that long ago, and he came back in time for a match at Mania. This was like 6-7 years ago.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
Destruction? Where he tore his pec?
Let me see.
I think I know what you're talking about, Joe, but it wasn't his quad because he did rip 2 quads. One was in 2001. The other one was in 2007. Yeah, he probably, I think, maybe tore his pec.
It might have been. Okay, maybe it was the pec tear, but it was something where he had a Mania match coming up, though. That's the thing. That's why I don't think it's the 2019 tear, because the 2019 tear was in Saudi Arabia, and I think that was May, and that was right after WrestleMania. But there was a WrestleMania, I want to say it was 2014, 15, or it might have even been the Daniel Bryan Mania, but it was one of those Manias where it was like, I remember me and Jake or somebody were talking about it. We were like, man, is he going to make it? And we were trying to sync it up. And I remember Triple H, it was like he was going to be better by March. And it was like borderline if he would make it. And he said he was good to go on March 5th or 10th. So we knew by April 3rd or whatever it was that he'd be ready. And I can't remember what year and whatever that was. Oh, it was 2013, I think. Maybe.
Oh, that was with Brock.
Triple H suffered more than just an injured hand at... Oh, no, that's at WrestleMania. No, it's not.
If it was 2013, that was WrestleMania 29, and that would have been with Brock.
No, really?
2013, yeah.
Wasn't 2013 WrestleMania 30? Or that was 14?
No, that was the next year.
Shit.
Somebody. So then it was. So I'm thinking more around 2014, 15, or 16. What, did he get injured in one of those 3 years? He tore his asshole. Someone says he tore his asshole. Somebody figure this out in the chat. I don't want to do this work. Somebody in the chat. Yeah.
Looks like my little lass needs a shaving.
Pico here. Joe, loved stream today. You're right.
I didn't do it
nice
today.
guys finish last. Unless they're premature ejaculators. Also, I forgive you for raping that pig. Hope you'll forgive me for sodomizing that homeless midget amputee. Shell.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I didn't do a stream today, but you're talking about the upload. I did a podcast and put it up on Patreon. That's what you're talking about. Okay, I get it.
Wait, Joe, we got breaking news here. What were you doing with the pig?
Nothing. So
Did you pork the pig, Joe?
Yeah, I porked piggy.
Did you pork the pig?
Dude, you don't even understand what I do to pigs.
I don't want to know what you do to them in your alone time.
Oh.
Motherfucker, here we go. Everyone knows I'm out the window, yep. Yo, motherfucker, no romance, cause there ain't no chance in my happy pants. Could you perchance come and take this dance and leave me here? I'm a bad motherfucker, ain't got no fear. What the time, what's the time, motherfucker? Time, motherfucker. Put it in a happy rhyme, motherfucker. It's clock o'clock. Bang, bang, tick tock. Frog in a sock. Oil shock. 2 on consignment, 1 in stock. What's the time, motherfucker? Said clock o'clock. I said clock o'clock.
That should be a wrestling theme.
If they do champ versus champ at Mania, what does that mean for the Rumble winner if it's not Roman or Lesnar? My guess, Bobby beats Lesnar because of Roman. Heyman gets Lesnar in the Rumble match and win.
Ooh, yeah, Heyman.
That's right.
That's a great point.
That means we're gonna get a triple threat.
One of the matches will be a triple threat.
Yeah, I mean, well, think about it. So again, the Money in the Bank is not a factor because that was already cashed in. So this brings us back to the actual match. Who's gonna win the match? The Royal Rumble.
Bobby.
Good one.
No. I'm not talking about what's going to happen in the actual the title match. I'm talking the actual Royal Rumble match. Who's going to win? I don't think Bobby's in that match.
I mentioned it earlier, and I hate saying it, but what's your opinion on Omos Mustafa?
Honestly, Omos is nowhere even near ready to be even close to a main event bout. And also, mind you, you know what? Omos reminds me of Big Show when he in like 99, 2000. He has all the potential in the world, and yet he's just slipping. He's not taking care of himself. That's why he went back to OVW, or he went to OVW via being on Raw because they just wanted him to learn more and actually learn the business more and respect the business more. So, no, I don't think Omos is going to be a contender at all, even within the next, 4 or 5 years. He's going to need a lot of work.
You think he's going to be that shock eliminations? All he's going to do is be that...
Oh, no, they're going to give him the Kane spot. He's going to eliminate, 9 guys just to make him credible, and then it's going to be all out. Somebody's going to eliminate him, or many people are going to eliminate him, do the whole Andre spot, but yeah.
Be that Drew and Brock spot from last year in the Rumble, where somebody that wasn't expected to comes in and eliminates him?
No, he's just going to do the whole Kane spot. I mean, Chat, what do you think? I mean, I think that it's just going to be the whole deal where he's just going to eliminate a bunch of people, probably 9, maybe 10 people, and then he's going to get eliminated. Come
close to tying the record, then get eliminated?
Close. I mean, they're going to give him something to work with in the Rumble. I guarantee you. There might even be a special surprise, and I'm not talking about Johnny Knoxville, but somebody else that might have been a big, a big guy that could potentially go toe to toe with Omos just for a brief bit, and then who knows? Maybe Omos might eliminate the special guest that is a big deal or what have you. I don't know.
He'll probably eliminate Knoxville. I mean.
Yeah. Oh no, he's totally gonna do the Kane Drew Carey spot.
Yeah.
If you remember that, that's how I'm gonna look at it. Oh, here's an idea.
I think he'll actually put up a fight though, unlike Carey who died, left the ring.
Turn it off now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
That should be your new ringtone, Joe. But in any
my new ringtone's gonna be me dying slowly. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Killing me softly. Okay. I was just gonna say this. There's rumor going around that X-Pac may want to do a comeback. Who knows? He might be able to come back for the Royal Rumble just for a few minutes. He'll do an X Factor, do a Bronco Buster, then get thrown out.
No, he wants to come back. Yeah, I remember doing a video on that a week ago. Yeah, he wants to come back. He's ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, actually, if you look at him like comparatively what he was like 10 years ago, dude, he looks in great shape.
Dude, he looks better than when I called his match 5 years ago, whatever it was, in Massachusetts. He kind of had like a pot belly and and stuff like that. He is way in shape right now. Way better.
Yeah. And
want to eliminate Omos?
Oh, he could what? He could eliminate Omos? Is that what you just said?
That would be hilarious. A Hall of Famer that's like his size eliminates a 7'3", 400-pound guy who needs to get, he needs to get pushed. But all right, yeah, that's cool.
The King spot, then have X-Pac come in, clean house, and him and a couple other guys can get Omos a rope.
Yeah.
Oh, this would be a good idea, Joe. What if AJ Styles is in the match, X-Pac's in the ring, and they have a bit of a of a stare off? Because I think the only time they've ever really touched gloves was when they were in TNA.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Stuff with X-Pac would be cool. I'd be down with that. But it'd be really cool if X-Pac came out and then Road Dogg came out.
Oh God!
and then Triple H came out, even though he's retired pretty much. But
can you just imagine if Road Dogg came out and then all of a sudden he just like looks to his left real quick and sees like a JCS sign and just says,
kills himself, shoots himself in the head. No. Road Dogg would come out with a "fuck Joe Cronin" shirt, or something like that.
I would.
He would definitely come out with F Boston people with backwards hats. Like he wouldn't want to advertise my name, but I could totally see Road Dogg coming out with like a shirt that said F podcasters or people named Joe suck, that sort of thing. Like just a little I could see that because he definitely. I don't know, man. I hope he's all right. We have heard not a lot. I mean, first of all, we haven't heard a lot from Road Dogg since he had a heart attack. Which is too bad because he had it right after he blocked me and also left Twitter. Before he left Twitter, for some weird reason, he blocked me, which was bizarre, to me, because I hadn't been blocked, and then all of a sudden he decides to leave Twitter, and then I go to check, and I'm blocked, and he left Twitter, which was concerning to me. But so we really haven't heard too much from Road Dogg since that happened, and that sucks. And now that Triple H has been out of commission. We haven't really heard. We're not hearing a lot about Triple H, other than it was really serious.
Oh yeah, no, dude. He most likely is at the house chilling with the fam. What he's doing, he's pretty much being, stay-at-home dad. Again, I can only imagine maybe he goes to the office in Stanford, but that's probably about it.
Road Dogg still hasn't uploaded, dude. Road Dogg hasn't uploaded on Instagram in 73 weeks.
Damn.
And that was when he put out a picture after he had the heart attack, and that was the only picture he uploaded after the heart attack was that one with him and I think maybe his daughter or something like that, and that's it. This is the last photo he put out, and he hasn't 70-something weeks. And my only guess, and I hate to say something like this because. It sucks because I was very critical and I would tag him a lot of times and things. And obviously a lot of people were harassing him all the time, way, way worse than me. But I wasn't trying to harass him. I was just trying to be like, hey, I think this sucks and I think this is good and bad and whatever. But he really got upset by by my critique. So that sucks because I think he took it the wrong way. But I also think I did lay it on too much. But he might have left Twitter and Instagram at this point, really. Because it wasn't helping his heart.
I'm dead serious. I think the stress of social media and the criticisms and I mean, he was under attack from people sometimes, like, oh, he's a racist, or oh, this is what they do, like type of thing, or oh, you like God because he's a big God guy. You know, you'd write about praise God and things like that.
I am too.
Yeah, and people
I get it.
people would attack him all the time over the God stuff. And he was a bit of a Trump guy, you know, and a right wing sort of thing. So he got attacked for that all the time. And I think he just said, "This is not worth it. I've now had a heart attack. I'm wasting my life." I guarantee he feels this way. I guarantee he felt everything, even though that the bad outweighed the good. As much as it was great to contact people and interact and say things, you know, tweeting and Instagramming and doing all that stuff is nothing. It's a waste of time. I have a real family. So unless it's got to do with WWE and my work and it's got to do with my family at home, I'm not involving myself in it. So I just hope.
Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing in terms of, like, you know, again, like, you know, him dealing with the pressures of social media and stuff like that. But also, mind you, dude, he literally was concentrating on his sobriety, and he still is.
Yeah, but he was tweeting every day for years, and he used to say, like, he said it to me, he said it to everybody, but he said, this is like my new addiction. He's like, I love coming on here. He goes, he basically would say stuff like, I've got ADD, my mind's always racing everywhere, so the social media helps me. I get to constantly interact. I'm tweeting all the time. I'm texting. He was locked in to all that, and I think that helped him, but it was an addiction as well.
Yeah, I get, and again, in equal doses, but also mind you that, you know, you have to, you know, balance that out with not just, like, you know, what happens in your, you know, online life, but what actually happens offline life. And again, whether or not, you know, all of what you said is true. Again, I don't know. I personally just know that, hey, if it makes your life easier just to get away from social media for a little while, cool. But the fact that it's been 73 weeks, damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, well, he quit Twitter, left Twitter, which is not his first time doing it, but he left it for good, for real. And then after that, he had the heart attack. And then after that, he didn't respond. He didn't do a thing on Instagram. And like we just said, 70-something. So over a year. So for over a year, Road Dogg. And that's why I used to engage with him all the time. Because me and him would talk so much on Twitter because he was talking to everybody on Twitter. And he was, like, locked into it. So it's definitely, I don't know, man. It's got to be, I mean, the reason why I think it was hard for him before to leave Twitter and to leave social media because he loved it so much, he enjoyed it. But once he had the heart attack, I think it was like, oh, this makes it easy to walk away from this stupid shit. I've got a real family. Like, I'm not going to waste my time on negative energy anymore.
So, I guess just to kind of wrap this all up. So, like, you know, we obviously know that Brock's going to be on SmackDown for, you know, the confrontation with Roman Reigns. Allegedly, Roman is going to be there on SmackDown. Now, is he going to be there physically, or he's going to be there via satellite?
They did that the last time, didn't they? Where I'll be there, and he was on satellite. But no, I think he's really going to be there. I think he's really going to be there this time.
And again, he's had the virus since what, last week, Joe?
Yeah, I think he was on day 8, the day he tested positive of the pay-per-view.
Yeah, so most likely he's been quarantining all week, and with the amount of days also leading up to this Friday. So yeah, most likely
should be good.
And I'm pretty sure he's not returning to any live events until maybe, I don't know, maybe the Saturday, Sunday. So yeah, most likely I could see him being there physically. It's just, you know, it's going to be really rough though, because now you're going to be in contact with other wrestlers, even though you had, you know, it's after you've had the virus that went through you, but God only knows what you could pass on to somebody else.
About this. He's had leukemia, so he's immunocompromised. Wouldn't that take it a little longer for him to recover?
Not necessarily, because we don't know what he had. I'm assuming he had Omicron. Omicron is nothing. It's just a small cold. So if he had Omicron, which is like a small cold, then he's fine. Nobody in America has died of Omicron that we know of. Like, Omicron is nothing. The hospitals that are filled up right now are made up of Delta. So most of the people sick in a hospital right now that are sick have Delta. And people that have died have had Delta. So I'm assuming he had Omicron. But even if he had Delta, he's in good shape. But that's why he definitely needed days to rest. So I hope he's had a lot of days here to rest. Obviously, he should be getting vitamin drips or at least taking tons of vitamins, resting, lots of sleep, so that he can, be in that good shape in case he catches it again or catches something else or whatever. So hopefully, and a lot of people that die have comorbidities of like multiple of them, like 2 or 3. So, I think that might count as one, right? The cancer stuff does count as one, the blood stuff, but you know what I mean? As long as his white blood cell count is normal, he should be all right. But I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying nobody's died of Omicron that we know of. Somebody in Texas, they said, did, and it turned out that was not true. So nobody's died of Omicron. So I'm assuming it's Omicron, but could have been any other one. But, what's it, today's day 10 or 11 of Romans allegedly. So if that's true, then he's going to be on 12, 13, 14. He'll be on day 15 or 16 by Friday. And that's, 2 days over the safest point of 14 days and 4 days over the 10-day recommendation now. So, should be good.
I mean, at this point right now, I mean, luckily, and to their credit, I mean, again, he's still the champion, so he hasn't dropped the belt. So in a lot of ways, this is a good thing just based upon what we've seen and what we've heard so far. So, I mean, it would be worst case scenario if he has to drop the belt because of this. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. But just imagine that if he did. I mean, all the work that they built up for him just to keep the title, I mean, it's just it would just be a wasted effort, and also it would not ruin him because things come and go, but he would really feel bad about it, of course, and anybody would.
Yeah. Well, but you can't really even think that way, right? Because
shit bum.
What do you think of a WrestleMania match between Scott Steiner at his peak when he was all crazy against Brock Lesnar at his peak? Who do you think will win?
I would pick Brock Lesnar over Scott Steiner 100%. I would pick Goldberg over Scott Steiner. I would pick Brock over Scott Steiner. Even when Scott Steiner was at his very, very best beast-like moments, I would take Brock or Goldberg over Scott Steiner.
I would take Scotch Steiner. I would take Scotch Steiner, Joe.
Scotch?
Not gonna lie.
Scotch Steiner?
Yeah, that isn't. I swear to God, that's what it felt like it said.
I think it did sound like it said that. Yeah, it sounded like Scotch Steiner.
Here's a question. I saw an interview not too long ago where Goldberg said he had one more match on his contract.
Oh, yeah. Oh. We got a new subscriber, yeah.
Oh, Robert
Freak
Mills.
Out.
Robert, thank you for subbing to the channel. Thank you, sir. Yeah, and what else, Joe? So go ahead.
Do you think that he may be a surprise entrant at the Rumble? Because since he still has one more match on the deal?
Yeah, it could be. Could be, but I would think they'd save him for Mania, but...
I was gonna say they're gonna save him for Mania because why would you waste that at the Rumble and then just not really have a WrestleMania payoff?
You think
if I was
you think he's like the reserve, like Goldberg is the backup in case somebody big gets COVID? Wouldn't you have that plan laid out? Think about it.
Yeah, I would to set up a program for Mania, but that also means okay, we're gonna extend your contract for another match. That's the only way I would see that. But that's another thing too. I'm just hoping that nobody that's major on television is going to be sidelined via COVID, and then they have to reschedule all these plans.
Well, didn't WWE also say they're not even going to test anymore or something like that? Didn't that was news that came out?
Didn't hear that. I didn't hear that, but again, no, I wouldn't understand why they would do that.
Doesn't make sense.
We're still in a pandemic, so it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever.
I saw that report, and everyone covered it. It was all over the place. And I didn't cover it, only because it literally just didn't make sense to me. Like, WWE not testing for COVID anymore. I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. How could they not, everyone, be testing for it? Especially if somebody was sick or is sick or feeling bad or whatever. If they have a hint that somebody was around somebody. I don't understand that. People ran with that story, though, everywhere. And I just don't get that. So, but yeah, I definitely would be in the boat of the camp of, hey, let's have Goldberg's our reserve. Goldberg will have a match against somebody at Mania, but it's not important. So that way we can book it at the very end, and if
yeah. Here it is, Joe, on Sports Illustrated.
No.
On Fox Sports Radio, WWE no longer requiring COVID-19 testing for wrestlers.
Wow. Wow.
That's got to be a dirty rumor, and if it is true, wow, that's just
I'm
not
telling
the right
you.
time.
I'm telling you. I saw it everywhere. Like he just read like credentialed places.
Oh, man, that's just bad timing. I think it would be a horrible timing to stop doing that. Even because here's the thing, it's like, okay, you stop doing that type of a testing, and obviously they're not going to stop testing when it comes to like the drug testing that they have, which is still very strict. But no, that's
you want to know what I think it means? I just think it means they're not like I think before they were testing every wrestler like before every show. I just don't think they're doing that. I think they're doing what the rest of the country is doing, and if somebody gets it and there's a reason to suspect others could have it, they're testing them. And if you don't feel very good, you're getting a test. But I don't think that they're actively testing everyone before a Monday Night Raw like they were. So I think that that's what that article means, and that's what they're doing. And if that's the case, then that kind of makes sense. That's no different than most every other company and everything in the whole whatever. Now, how does that compare to the NHL or NFL and things like that? That's to be questioned. I don't know the facts on all that.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you, like somebody like Meltzer or somebody that's like within the industry for a long time, they're probably going to get more coverage on this within the next like coming weeks. But as of right now, this is just, for me personally, it doesn't make any sense. So like, God forbid, if let's say somebody had COVID that's on the roster, I'm at an event, I'm like near like the aisleways in which like they can go over the guardrails and they can fight amongst somebody. God only knows, like, a wrestler coughs or whatever. And then all of a sudden I get it, and then I can't legally do anything about it, if that was the case, because eventually what's going to happen.
Well, who cares? See, I'm not worried about that at all. That's really bizarre, like whatever. I'd be like, who cares, right? Like you're literally in a building with hundreds of people. Any one of those people sitting near you could have it. I'd be more worried about, the wrestling roster getting it all at the same time and you lose 10, 15 people. I think that's the real worry.
Well, no, of course. I mean, I'm just saying it from not just from a point of view of wrestlers, but also fans that interact with wrestlers physically as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but but you're interacting with everyone sitting around you more than the wrestler, and you don't know where they've been.
True.
Just think about it. I mean, like, come on. Like, you're going to walk through the corridors of the building. You're going to go in the bathroom. You're going to sit next to people screaming next to you, and yelling and whatever. And then because Brock Lesnar walked by you and waved at you, you're worried about that. That doesn't make sense.
But then also, mind you also have to pay attention to event staff that they may not be part of the company, but they definitely help, help out with the building. And then, again, like, what if that happens as well?
Well, we just had this. We had the other night when last week's Raw was a light team. Half the crew, 30% of the crew was sick. Remember that? Yeah. They only had 6 people. They only had 6 producers. They're supposed to have 12. They had 6 people. Half the fucking crew was out. So this just happened last week when everybody was out. So it kind of did happen, and that's after the testing rumors. Funny enough, it happened right after right after they said we're not testing anymore. All of a sudden, 30% of the crew was sick, and then they had to be like, "Oh shit!" And by the way, all the rumors of all the people that they said were sick were probably had COVID, but Roman was the only one that tested positive still on that Friday. So they were like, "Oh shit," in which case they did test.
As far as we know of now, that's been announced, yes. But because again, God only knows who else was caught in the crossfire of that. We don't know.
Yeah, and it's not a big deal. It's expected, and it was probably Omicron because nobody that we know of got really sick. I mean, it could have been Delta, but other people have had Delta and been all right. But yeah, dude, it's not that crazy to me that that's happening. I understand why they're not testing the same way they were. I think it's fine at this point, What are you going to do? Everyone's going to get Omicron. Everyone's going to get Omicron or the version.
I haven't gotten COVID one time, and I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, but you hope to get Omicron or the variant after Omicron. All of us should hope to get that, because if you get that, at least you got the immunities now a little bit. You almost
started on Fox Sports Radio. It even said that former WWE champion Seth Rollins confirmed reports that he'd tested positive over the weekend via Twitter.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
why.
was on
Well, that's why on Raw last week he was on video only.
And he was there today.
And he was there today. Yep, exactly. Like I'm telling you.
But even so, though, I think that he definitely. I mean, again, they're saying that he probably didn't get, that they're not testing. But I guarantee you, like, if you're smart enough and you're an athlete and you're also going to be in there with other people, that on your own you're gonna go get a test result from something that has nothing to do with the company. So I'm pretty sure that he did take precautions before coming back to work.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I think they are testing the wrestlers. They're just not testing them before every event. What they were doing before was they were giving everybody a test before the show that night, every time they performed. Now they're not doing that. Now they're just testing as necessary, like most other people. And think about Seth. Seth was at day 1. Roman was not, because Seth had it last Monday night on Raw. He was on his video camera from his house. So wasn't Becky, and who was the other one? Big E. Big E wasn't there either. Big E had COVID. So all those were all the names they had. I don't know why we forgot this, but we did, because we saw them last week. So they all had COVID. They all tested negative. That means they probably received 2 negative tests, probably on a Thursday and a Friday, or a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All got negatives, so they were able to perform at the pay-per-view, no problem. But Roman, he probably got a positive. And so they were like, okay, well, you can't wrestle because you got a positive. Or they were concerned about him, needing extra time off and didn't want to say that, so they said he got a positive. It's one of those things. Because everybody else made it, he didn't. But that happens. And they were all within the 10 to 15 day period. So they were cutting it close, but they were all within over 10 days. But Roman, on the 8th day, we believe it was the 8th day, because that was the day it was told to me, and the WrestleVotes reported it, and the guy that I think leaks just basically WrestleVotes his shit to me and pretends he knows something. That was the 8th day of Roman having it. So that's a little bit close. So then the next day, on the 9th and 10th day, Roman did not perform. So that looks to be what it is. And luckily nobody got sick.
Well,
nobody got hospitalized. Nobody had really a tough time with it, really. This seems like Omicron because nobody lost their sense of smell and taste, I don't believe. That's the other thing that tips me off, that tells me I believe it's Omicron, because nobody posted on Instagrams and things like that, like, wish I could smell my steak. Hey, we're out eating, wish I could smell it. Or, I'm at home, wish I could smell it. Nobody, if Seth Rollins couldn't smell his food or taste his food, you know what I mean? Or Becky or somebody, I almost 100% guaranteed there would have been a post about it. About, wow, wish I could smell my eggs that I just made. There'd be a post about that, and there wasn't. So that tells me it was, and they all sounded fine in all the videos they made throughout the week. So that tells me it looks like it was Omicron, because Omicron doesn't present with loss of taste and smell. Only Delta and previous ones do. Get scared.
Again, it just comes down to responsibility and accountability, and unfortunately, in the business, that could be very selfish in various ways.
Yeah, wrestlers
can happen. So
these wrestlers love to throw caution to the wind, and listen, I did too when I was wrestling, and I to this day have the kind of attitude of, hey, listen, ignorance is bliss. If I go out there and normally if I get hit, my adrenaline's going, and someone's like, we got to stop, we think you broke your nose or whatever. And I say, like, fuck it, and then later they're like, yeah, you really shouldn't have wrestled with this. But you're like, oh, I didn't care at the time. All I cared about was entertaining people and keeping the kayfabe and everything. Like, and wrestlers were kind of like stuntmen and like Hollywood actor or, theatrical actors and people like that. A lot of them, not everybody. I'm not saying everybody, because there are some people out there who say, fuck that, I'm not putting my life on the line. I got a family at home. But no, there's some bit of daredevil in you to do this. There just is. That you'll take.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
You have
to. You got that gene in there. So, yeah, no doubt about it that they'll. Like, if it was the 9th day and Roman tested negative and they were like, we really should give it 14 days, I could see the wrestlers being like, I don't care, let me get in there with him. Even if I got to isolate after I wrestle him.
No, Vince, being stubborn as he is, probably would have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, no. You know what I mean? Because again, a lot of people, even when, let's say, they're dealing with a nagging injury and they're on the road, they're going to try to suck it up and go through until, like, they are at least getting all the main shows out of their way before they maybe go to the hospital and get checked out. But honest to God, though, dealing with, again, a virus, not a physical injury, but a virus, it's a very tricky thing to go through, especially since we are still technically not out of the woods yet, but I also understand the competitive nature of these guys as well. So, and anything is possible at this point, which, again, going back to, what we're seeing from the road to WrestleMania, it's just going to be an interesting number of weeks, especially leading into, the next couple pay-per-views after Royal Rumble, to see, like, who's going to be sticking around and who's not going to be sticking around, whether they have the virus, whether they don't, whether they're going to get let go, whether if one's contract is going to be up, we don't know. We just know that we have to just get the Mania. That's just the main thing.
Moss Blaze said something. Go ahead, Compton.
I want to get your thoughts on this, and yours too, Mustafa. They stopped calling them pay-per-views. They're now premium live events. To me, that takes away the mystique, the meaning of them. Because that means all WrestleMania is a glorified live event.
Well, here's the problem. I think you're right in a way, and I agree. But I joked years ago about this, and I said, well, it's not really a pay-per-view anymore. Now it's a special event or whatever. It really kind of is. It's true. It's not really pay-per-view anymore because most of it's now, if they're still on pay-per-view, that's why I didn't mind it. I thought it was good. I was like, yeah, some people still pay-per-view. They pay every month to watch this happen, or they pay on pay-per-view. So why not still call it a pay-per-view? But the word pay-per-view is not something, not a lot of people order stuff on pay-per-view anymore. It's technically not really pay-per-view anymore, so I can see why they want to change that language. I think the problem is to all of us, especially older people like 30 and above or 25 and above, the vernacular or just the meaning pay-per-view it always sounds like that's important. That's a big fight event. That's a big event, pay-per-view, because we've been trained and programmed to believe that because we're spending money on something that's a big, huge live event because they promoted it that way. So the promotion of the event feels big and special. It doesn't feel as special if you call it a premium live event, especially to the people of our age. So I get that, and I agree that it doesn't sound as sexy, and it doesn't sound as fun, and it certainly makes you want to pay less for it. I know that, like, a premium live event. Well, I'd pay, I'd pay $5 for that. I guess I don't know, maybe not even, but pay-per-view, you'd really pay for that. So I think that it makes sense because it is a false advertisement to say pay-per-view. It's very similar to how we still say taped, or want to listen to the tape or play the tape. There's no tape. We don't have a tape. It's all digital, Like, go back and just listen to the tape. Or, hey, like I don't know, dude, I heard it on the tape somewhere. I want to listen to it on the tape. Or, hey, where's the, we constantly say that. And there's no tape. Videotape, there's no videotape. We all say it.
Or something. Hey, did you hear this new guy's putting out this record? Nobody listens to records anymore.
Yeah, see, so we used to do that. So in the 90s, I would say, I'm going to get that record, and people would be like, dude, there's no records anymore. It's a CD or an album or something. I guess album was the thing that you would say, or CD. You'd start saying CD. But like you just said, same thing. People said record. It's just people are going to say pay-per-view forever. They're still going to, even if WWE changes the name of their special live events or premium live events, anybody who's 20 years old or older is still going to have trouble. They're still going to say pay-per-view because it feels that's the way they're used to viewing that content. So I don't have a problem with them changing it because technically they're right, but it's going to be like 30 years or 20 years before people, or maybe be less than that, but like 10, 20 years before people start being like, oh, did you order the live event or did you order the special event? And you've already heard people say, like, you watching the live event. It won't even be a question of – and also, by the way, that will take out the whole idea of purchasing too, right? Theoretically, this could be a psychological thing too, right? Like, we all subscribe to Peacock. We all don't just go around saying, did you buy – do you think this show is going to be worth buying this month? Are you going to buy the pay-per-view? Are you going to buy – no, it will be no question. You'll just have Peacock. So it won't be a question of are you going to buy the pay-per-view, which makes you think of I have to decide if it's worth the money. No, you'll just be saying, are you going to watch the show? It's not, are you going to pay for it? It's going to be, are you going to watch the show? So now there's no more assuming you're going to dish out money. It's, oh, are you going to watch it? And so that's an interesting, I don't know what kind of psychology that is sales-wise, but it means something, I guess. I don't know. So, like, but that's, yeah, it's the closest comparison is, oh, that new record's out. It's a great point. That new record's out. It's a CD, actually. But, you know, dude, I mean, you know what's funny is I think people were still saying, is that record out? When CDs were finally starting to drift away and disappear and most people just download everything now, people were still saying, did you buy the record? You know, that just never left. People kept saying that. You know, a lot of people said buy the CD. And nowadays, by the way, no, go ahead, Joe Compton. I'm sorry. I'm done.
I don't like the sound of them calling WrestleMania something that's the granddaddy of them all, something that's the Super Bowl. I don't like the sound of it being a premium live event.
Well, I don't mind it because it's still WrestleMania. It doesn't, you know, it really doesn't matter because, you know, at first WrestleMania was done on a closed circuit. You know, not many people could see it on pay-per-view in the first few years of it. I mean, even me, right? I watched the first 5 WrestleManias via VHS. You know, even WrestleMania 10, you know, I had to wait 2 days to watch it on a recorded VHS tape. You know, I really didn't start thinking about pay-per-view. I really didn't start thinking about pay-per-view. I didn't think about that until around WrestleMania, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12, you know, around those years. So, you know, it's still WrestleMania. Now, if you started not calling it WrestleMania, or, you know, you remember when they started not saying WrestleMania 35, they wanted to say WrestleMania and take the numbers out and just put the logo in. That bothered me more than this. Like, the idea of saying, oh, we're not going to say WrestleMania 40, we're going to say WrestleMania play button. Remember we made fun of WrestleMania play button? They took out the 31 or whatever and put the play button up. I mean, that's that's some of the reason why I don't know what WrestleMania we're on a lot of times, because they took out the Roman numerals, which I loved, we all loved, and it was to not mock, but to mirror the Super Bowl in NFL. That sticks with me. I remember the numbers. I remember numbers and logos. So if you put numbers and logo together, I remember better. But if you just put logo, it all starts blending together. Yeah, I remember that WrestleMania based on the logo, but I don't remember when in the chronology it is. So that's not good.
Yeah, you can remember the WrestleMania 10 logo being WrestleMania X in the background.
Yeah.
When she jumped off the ladder onto Razor.
Yeah, there's so much I remember. I mean, obviously you remember more too psychologically because you were younger. Like I've realized that when you're younger, things imprint in you more. So that's why like I could clear as day describe, especially WrestleManias 5 to WrestleMania 15. I remember those WrestleManias clear as day from 1 to 15. They're burnt in my memory, etched in for mostly all time. But after WrestleMania 15, it starts to get blurry, and then certainly after WrestleMania 30, it really blurs. Like the last 7 WrestleManias, barely could tell you anything. It's such a blur to me. 31 is probably the last one I somewhat remember, as the one where Sting was there and Seth did the curb stomp thing and Randy Orton RKO'd. I remember that. But after 31, 32, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are a blur for sure. Except for, except for I remember the COVID one pretty much because that was bizarre. So that's,
yeah.
And I think that was maybe 36. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know. That's about it, man. We've really talked about a lot here tonight. We went further than I expected. And I just want to say thank you guys for coming on, man. Mustafa and Joe, the Renegade Joe Compton, man, for being here. I give Raw tonight probably a 4 out of 10. And really that 4 is coming only from the excitement of Lesnar and the main event. All right. And maybe it's a 3 for Christ's sake, but I'll give it a 4. But that's it. Not very good tonight.
I'd be right there with you on 4, because right after Lesnar and Heyman fucking did their spiel, it went downhill.
Yeah, it did. It felt like it went downhill. It got boring. Mustafa, anything good from this show tonight for you?
The only highlight I remember was I got excited when I found out Alexa Bliss was finally coming back.
Yeah, I can't get excited for even that, but I mean, good news. She's pretty decent, you know, but I can't even get excited for anything.
They need her there because it's been the same old for a while. So she'll probably be that shot of something new, even though she's been there for a while. It'll be refreshing to see her back.
Well, we'll see. God, I wish I could be that optimistic. I feel like they were just jerking her around when she was here the last couple months. I feel like she has barely been gone either. Like, I just feel like she was just here. But that's me. If you're out there excited about her, then that's awesome. I'm sure some little kids are, because she did have a good amount of female younger fans. So hopefully that helps the younger demographic. Mustafa, anything from you, man? He might be gone, though.
No, he's still on cam. I can still see him.
Oh, yeah? Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Oh. He's muted.
Oh, you're muted, Mustafa? I don't see him. Well, let me... Hold on a minute. Oh, for me, he's like spinning around in circles.
Yeah, I can see his camera.
Yeah, I see his camera too now. He just popped back on, but he's not muted in the stream, but he's muted himself probably. He's probably frozen with his mute button. No, we can't hear you. Could be his connection.
He keeps saying he's muted.
But he's not muted. I don't have him muted. Oh, he might have. So yeah, he's not. You're not muted on Discord. Look, I'll show you.
Can you drop him off the call, bring him back on, see if that helps?
See, he's not muted. He's not muted at all. I could try that. Hey, can you hear me? Mustafa? That is weird. I don't know what's going on. Well, fuck it. Oh, there you go. All right. I don't know what's going on, but we're out of here. My Discord just crashed now. That's about it, man. I'm sorry, Mustafa. I don't know what happened, but thank you so much to Mustafa for stopping by. Renegade Joe Compton, thank you guys for hanging out with me to talk about some stuff, because really, I really believe there was not a lot to talk about as far as Raw goes tonight, and I would have just probably been done this in 20 minutes. Although I, probably should be streaming a lot more to, to deliver some content and things like that. I'll be live again tomorrow and to be doing some stuff tomorrow. Oh boy, it's going to be a rough time. I can feel it in 2022, man. Oh boy. Mr. Pico.
Super chat party.
Oh yeah.
Brock got diverticulitis eaten at Gargut's taco stand.
Oh God. That's gross. Remember when Brock got diverticulitis? When Brock got the thing about Brock getting diverticulitis is I'm so glad he got it, because after Brock got diverticulitis, then I started, realizing that was a thing. I didn't know about what diverticulitis was. And because of Brock Lesnar getting it, I then would spend years always thinking I was going to get it whenever I got a pain in my stomach. So thank you, Brock Lesnar, for getting diverticulitis and creating a unbelievable hypochondria in me that I was always going to get something I didn't know about. So thank you to Brock Lesnar for that. I think we can all thank him for that. What a beautiful thing. Thanks so much, Brock Lesnar, for that. And that's really about it, man. That's all we got tonight. I'm on my way out. I hope you guys leave a like, hit the sub button if you're into the show, and very much would ask you to check out Patreon if you guys really love what I do here. Oh, look at that. Check out Patreon and give it a like, give it some love, and join patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. I put up a podcast earlier today, so you should check that out if you have not. It's up, and it's about 45 minutes long. I did put an excerpt of it up where I flipped out on Peyton Oswalt because he's a little grimy bastard, and I went off on a rant about his whole thing. And so that's up there if you didn't hear it. Check that out. Give it a listen. Give it some love. And get scared. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I want to give a shout out to the producers of the show. Thank you guys for going above and beyond and becoming $25 producers. You will see your names credited down below. And these are the main sponsors of the show. Without these guys, we wouldn't be here. And girls, Shell is not a guy. Thank you for that. Thank you to Tom Z, who became a $5 patron. Mr. Pico for going up to the $2 spot. Shell going $100 up. And everybody else, man, I hope we can get you back. If you used to be a producer, and if you want to be one, I hope we can get you over there. We probably could use... We definitely need 10 or 15 more of you, to be honest. So if you're out there, 10 or 15 more patrons, producers, we're looking for you. We need you to sign up and become a JCS Army Sergeant of Cock. Think about it. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thanks for being here.